my own experiences of finding myself in an addiction and entering into a residential rehab for addiction. And during the time that I was in there, I was only in there for 28 days, but during that time we had group therapy, and we could have access to the therapists as well. We could have a little bit of one-to-one counselling. But during that experience, it was quite intense. It was group therapy every day, so like having process group all day, every day. But just realising that I really didn't know myself, that there was a lot in my life that had happened that had led me to be there. And there was a lot of things happening that I wasn't aware of, and becoming just, in that having a bit of a light bulb moment that actually, it wasn't just me being there for 28 days was going to actually sort me out. I needed to carry on with this. I needed to carry on with therapy. So I became a client of one of the therapists there. When I left, I continued in private therapy myself as a client, and they asked me back after a year to volunteer there as a mentor. So I did that, and I became really interested in the whole process and what was going on. I was there. I was again into group therapy and into process with the clients of the Priory Clinic at the time, and I just became really interested in not only my own process but what was going on in the group and what was happening. So I decided to train as a therapist. So I started to look around at the different routes to becoming a therapist, how to become qualified, and what was available close to home in Nottingham. So I looked around for training, for therapy training in and around Nottingham, and I came across different various ways of becoming a qualified therapist, and I came across the Sherwood Institute, SPTI. So I inquired and went on an information day, but the minute that I walked into the building at Sherwood, into Park Row, I'd been interviewed by other local universities, but I had a completely different feeling of being in Park Row. It just felt very comfortable. It felt very warm. It felt very safe. It felt very friendly. I really liked the people that spoke on the information day. I remember being interviewed by Debs Mendham, and just her warmth and being with her felt very but felt very safe. So yeah, I decided to train at the SPTI. I did the ABC counselling course first, to see if I really wanted to be a therapist, but that just ignited my passion to learn more. So I came onto the BSc, and I had every tutor I had was different for each year, but they were all really good in their own way. They all had diverse backgrounds and different types of training, and I felt like I learned a real lot from the tutors that I had, and I enjoyed my experience, if that's the word that I can use, enjoyed. So obviously, it is life-changing, and it was hard at times, and but overall, then when I look back, it's one of the best things that I ever did, and I'm really glad that I trained at SPTI, and I would come back and train, and I have come back to train there. I'm doing the supervisor's course, so I have come back to train there. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So some of the challenges that I faced during study was returning as a mature student, never having studied at this level before, so wasn't academic, never done really anything at that academic level. I was also a single mum, had 2 young children, and they were I think 5 and 3 when I started, so they were very young. So it felt like a big challenge to come and do a degree. Lots of people told me that I was mad and that I shouldn't be doing a degree. I should be home looking after my children, which I did as well. And I had very good support from my family and my mum. But it was difficult. There were times when I felt that I really couldn't carry on. There were times when I doubted myself. Maybe I should have listened to those people that told me it would be too much. But the level of support that I got from the institute, from the personal therapy that I was in, from my peers, from the group that I trained with, from my tutors, from the program leader, and from my family and friends as well, obviously. But everything just held me, and helped me to get through. And I think it was really important. I learned how to ask for help and how to access support. So there were a lot of challenges, but there was nothing there's nothing special about me in terms of being able to do the course. I wasn't particularly bright or smart or academic, but I had a passion to do it. And when it got difficult, I relied on that as well, my passion to actually become a therapist and get the support that was available to me. And that got me through. Then I guess it's not an exaggeration to say it completely changed my life. It wasn't like doing a maths degree and just learning something. It was actually, very experiential and impacted me in ways that I never expected to be impacted. I knew it would be tough and I knew I'd need to look at myself, but I grew and I changed in very positive ways during my training. Became more aware of myself, more aware of my process. And that had a great impact on my relationships around me as well, at home, with my friends, with my family. So it changed my life in lots of ways. I guess a big thing for me that I guess I did already sort of touch on was benefiting from actually being quite a loner before, quite isolated, somebody that just survived, that just got on with things, that felt I had to do everything on my own. To actually asking for help and knowing that help would be available and reaching out for support and becoming more sort of, I guess, rather than too independent, becoming more sort of interdependent. So still having that independence, but also knowing when I needed other people to help me along. So that was a really big change for me and something that, I'm really grateful for. I'm really glad that I have in my life today. So I've run a successful private practice now since I qualified in 2017. So I see clients privately, which I obviously really enjoy doing, and it's been well, it's been like learning to drive, I suppose. It's like coming out, having the degree, and then actually coming out and putting it into practice. I think there's been a lot more learning along the way. And with clients, my use of personal therapy, supervision, and regular CPD and professional development, I've started to grow into that role as a therapist and become more competent in my work. I think the advice would be, that first of all, it is challenging. It will make you uncomfortable. It will change your life. It will change your relationships. But it's absolutely worth it if you're passionate and you really want to become a therapist. You're passionate about doing it because the rewards are, not only will you find a new career, but you will really actually discover yourself, and it will improve your relationships. It will improve your life. It will improve your well-being. So and benefit those around you. But don't underestimate the importance of actually, you're not doing this on your own. Don't underestimate the importance of, good supervision, um, a good personal therapist, and having that support and having that in place, and actually really utilizing that support as well, not just turning up because you have to hit so many hours. So my plans for the future are to continue with my private practice, to keep working privately with clients, but I'm just in the process of doing my BACP accreditation at the moment as well. So I'm hoping to have that completed in the next few months. And I've also just started the supervisor's diploma at the Sherwood. So because I would like to become a qualified supervisor. So I'd like to start working sort of next year with students and more with students and doing supervision as well. So that's how I want to develop and grow. I'd also like to come and be a skills tutor on the bachelor's at Sherwood. So they're things that I'm working towards now. So I think in terms of self-care, I've become very aware of the importance of that in terms of looking after myself. And it's been trial and error sometimes, kind of learning how the right number of clients and the right balance in my life. But I think in terms of looking after myself outside of the work that I do, then I do exercise, I go to spin classes, I go to yoga. I'm booked on a yoga retreat later this year, and actually I've got a day retreat in March. I forgot about that one, which I'm really looking forward to. So, and spending time with my family and doing fun things. Always looking for something to do or places to go. So, I think my self-care is tending to myself. So it's not all bubble baths and chocolates. Sometimes self-care can be actually me being able to just sit and self-reflect. And if I want to get angry, get angry. If I want to cry, cry. To have my feelings. Sometimes self-care is a bit messy, but I'm open to being messy sometimes and getting the support that I need with that too. And that's looking after myself, because life is tough and can be challenging.